Shiori Yamada follows a classmate who keeps abandoning the road to school, checking over his shoulder and hiding behind walls before 8 in the morning. She expects a secret crush or a crime. Instead, Kensuke Fujie climbs a tree with binoculars to photograph a cat. Somehow, that explanation makes him look more suspicious. Then the joke turns serious. Tamako is not merely his favorite stray. When 9-year-old Kensuke got lost, this one calico walked him through unfamiliar streets and stopped directly outside his home. He has spent years trying to repay a cat who probably thinks she just went for a walk. And just when Tamako disappears, a stranger drops into the park like a low-budget superhero and promises to summon every cat nearby. His equipment is not food, technology, or magic. It is one ball of yarn. Kensuke has 20 notebooks of research. This man has arts and crafts. Only one method is about to work. The story begins with Shiori walking behind Kensuke, a boy from her class whom she barely knows. They share the same route, but his personality changes whenever he reaches one particular neighborhood. He becomes excited, slips away from the main road, and scans the street as if someone might be watching him. Shiori decides that normal people do not move like this before homeroom. Curiosity wins. Shiori follows at a distance, copying every ridiculous turn while Kensuke checks corners and walls. He looks around, confirms the coast is clear, and pulls out his phone. From Shiori's angle, she sees a boy hiding from witnesses while preparing a camera. The court of teenage suspicion has already reached a verdict. Kensuke crouches beside a wall and starts taking notes. Shiori notices the concentration on his face and briefly wonders if she is judging him too quickly. Then he raises binoculars and starts peeping over a fence. Her sympathy survives for approximately one panel. She now believes she has caught the neighborhood's most organized pervert. Before she can confront him, Kensuke climbs a tree for a better view and loses his footing. Shiori rushes forward, he crashes down, and both of them land in a heap. Kensuke is confused that she followed him. Shiori is more concerned with stopping whatever she thinks he was doing. Their first real conversation begins with the phrase, "Cease and desist." Shiori asks what is how Kensuke spends every morning peeping through windows. Kensuke denies it so hard that his face almost leaves his body. He insists his phone will tell the truth and hands it over with complete confidence. The newest photograph shows a black and white cat sitting safely on the other side of the wall. For 1 second, Kensuke is innocent. Then Shiori swipe. Cat, another cat, a different angle of the same cat. His entire camera roll is feline surveillance. The evidence does not lie, it simply changes the charge. Kensuke was not stalking a girl. He was conducting a wildlife documentary without funding, permission, or a socially acceptable explanation. The notebook is Kensuke's stronger evidence. Kensuke has assigned the stray's names and identification numbers. He records colors, body size, face shape, territories, and behavior. Tabby Girl is female, small, round-faced, and apparently owns a specific patch of pavement. Mamikichi is a large black, patterned male. This is not casual appreciation. It is a census. Kensuke explains that he visits the neighborhood every morning because he cannot keep a cat at home. Whereas most strays flee whenever he approaches. He can document them, memorize them, and love them from behind a wall, but he cannot actually touch one. Shiori finally understands. He is trying to befriend an entire species that has collectively left him on read. Shiori apologizes for calling him a criminal, then admits she has never spent time with cats, because her family always had dogs. Kensuke immediately asks whether she wants to meet Tamako. Shiori expects a person. Kensuke points toward Tama Park and introduces a calico sitting proudly on a concrete ball, as if she owns municipal property. Tamako received her name because she always sits on that ball in Tama Park. She is also the only local stray that lets Kensuke pet her. The moment his fingers touch her chin, his entire face melts. Shiori learns 2 things at once. Tamako has different colored eyes, and in Kensuke's frightening morning routine is powered by the emotional needs of a golden retriever. Kensuke offers Tamako a dried fish. Shige grabs the treat, swallows it, and runs. He is not offended. He proudly explains that even after becoming friendly, she kept her cat-like nature. And he checks the time. It is 8:22. School has started, and the cat who improved his morning has quietly destroyed his attendance record. Kensuke promises a shortcut and sprints after another cat through the back streets. He claims cats know secret paths. Shiori can barely keep up, which is strange because Kensuke later says he does not like sports. They reach school just before the bell, and Shiori realizes the quiet cat stalker can run like a rabbit and climb like a monkey purely to maximize cat time. At the school gate, Shiori asks the obvious question. If Kensuke has enough energy to race through alleys and enough balance to climb trees, why not use it in a sport? Kensuke gives the least inspiring athlete interview ever. He does not like sports because practice would reduce his cat time. Every coach in the building just felt a disturbance in the universe. Kensuke falls asleep in class almost immediately. His teacher wakes him with a ruler and threatens to make him sleep in the hallway next time. Shiori watches from her desk and notices that he becomes a completely different person whenever a cat appears. Without cats, he is exhausted and quiet. With cats, he turns into an Olympic event nobody asked for. As the weather grows colder, Kensuke plans to bring Tamako a blanket. He also warns another cat named Shiro not to take the wrong road. The next morning, however, the concrete ball at Tama Park is empty. Tamako has not appeared since the day before. For the first time, Kensuke's carefully organized routine contains something his notebook cannot explain. Kensuke checks his records and calculates an 89.2% chance that Tamako returns on a Thursday. Conveniently, today is Thursday. Shiori calls him a stalker again, now with significantly less fear. But the statistics do not reassure him. Strays are cautious, their schedules change. And Tamako is special precisely because she normally does not disappear. Shiori still does not understand why this particular cat matters so much. Kensuke finally tells her. He first met Tamako when he was 9. While chasing dragonflies, he wandered through streets he did not recognize. A dragonfly landed near Tamako. She ate it in front of him, and his small adventure immediately became an emotional emergency. Young Kensuke ran after the cat, then realized he was completely lost. He begged somebody to help, but the only somebody available was Tamako. She looked at him and walked away. Kensuke followed her for almost an hour, trusting a random animal because his alternative plan was crying beside a wall until adulthood. Tamako eventually stops in front of Kensuke's own house. Whether she deliberately rescued him or merely followed her usual route does not matter. To a frightened 9-year-old, she brought him home. He thanks her through tears and promises never to forget. That moment becomes the reason he studies cats, visits the neighborhood, and keeps returning to Tamako. Kensuke says he owes Tamako his life. Shiori gently suggests the cat probably happened to pass his house. He agrees, but keeps smiling. The chapter's strangest obsession now has a completely sincere center. Kensuke is not collecting cats like trophies. He is trying to remain close to the animal that made a terrifying world feel navigable. Their conversation is interrupted by a stranger who lands on a park structure hard enough to create his own entrance music. He asks whether they have seen a calico with different colored eyes. Kensuke thinks he means Tamako. The stranger calls her Tamao, but for the same reason, she sits on the ball in Tama Park. Two cat obsessives have independently invented matching lore. The man notices that Tamako is absent and decides to call every cat in the area. Kenseek has years of observations, numbered profiles, and an 89.2% forecast. The stranger reaches into his clothes and produces one ordinary ball of yarn. The scientific method has officially been challenged by something sold in the craft aisle. He hurls the yarn like an anime finishing move. The ball changes speed, height, and direction as he whips it around the park. Cats appear from walls, bushes, and alleys. Even the cautious strays stop avoiding people because the moving string overwhelms their fear. Kenseek can only stare while an entire neighborhood abandons dignity at the same time. Kenseek studies the yarn's changing trajectory and declares it a living thing. Shiori is equally stunned, but for a different reason. This unknown man has apparently weaponized playtime. With one ball of yarn, he has tamed every cat Kensuke spent years trying to approach. The chapter ends by revealing that Kensuke is not the title's only crazy cat person. He may not even be number one.